Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Aquaponics World. And it has been, I don't know, a couple of months since I've done a video because it's been a couple of months since I have done anything with my fish tank. One of my fishies passed away today. Definitely a good sign that I've been a little too lax on this fish tank. I was doing weekly water changes for a year. Every week for a year I did a water change, and was maintaining every month, doing filter cleanings, and every 3 months doing some maintenance on there, using my maintenance schedule. So, replacing carbon pads and just basically cleaning everything. So I'm definitely due to clean the pump out, and let's see. I think I have some. Yeah, I got some carbon pads here, I believe. Yeah, got some carbon pads. So change out a carbon pad. I think I'm going to start using the water conditioner again because organic just really isn't working out for me very well. The concept of growing organic is definitely a doable thing without the water conditioner. But what I'd like to do is just get back into the swing of things and get this all cleaned up. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do here is turn off the pump so that I can take it apart and clean the filters and replace the carbon pad. Now, this is the Fluval FX4. Great pump. It's still working, as sludged up as it is. It is still pumping water. As you can see, there's still water coming out. It's a light trickle, but there's still water coming out of there. So the first thing that I need to do, I believe, is to close off the valves and unplug it, if I'm not mistaken. It's been so long I forget. So let's take a look at my Fluval instruction manual here. It says Let me look through this, and I will get right back. All right, this is what I was looking for. Filter maintenance. So drain the filter. Turn the in and out valve in sequence to the closed horizontal position. So in and out valve to the closed horizontal position. Unplug the pump from electrical power supply. Yeah, I've been working 7 days a week. Got a new job. I'm working 10-hour days, 70 hours a week. I have had just no time to take care of fish, and that's one thing that you definitely want to think about is, how permanent is your situation? Maybe you're in a great situation right now to take care of fish, but are you going to be in that same position for years down the road? Because these fish are 2 years old. Well, that guy is. The other fish that passed away is not 2 years old anymore. So anyway, remove the utility hose from the clips on the lid and position its end in an appropriate basin discharge drain. Okay, so let me think. How does that work? Wait, what? Oh yeah, okay. Remove the utility hose from the clips and the lid and position it in. Okay, and then turn the utility valve to open position by turning it counterclockwise, then disconnect the out valve. So yeah, so this is the utility valve right here. It just sits on the top, and the problem with this is that this has to be higher than this, so I'm gonna have to disconnect these first so that I can get it out and then set it up on a chair, and then I will open up the utility valve. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I can't do it with the camera in my hand, with the phone in my hand, but basically you just press this button right here, and then using both hands you just pull up on this and it detaches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've got the pump up on a chair, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the utility valve into a drainage basin or a tote, and I'm going to open up this valve, and the way it works is gravity just feeds the water down through the hose. It doesn't need the pump plugged in or anything like that to drain it. So I'm just going to open up that valve, and all the water is going to dump into this tote. And that way we can drain it out, because this thing stays full of water. It has to be completely full of water, and it sucks the water in through the intake and then pumps it back out after going through a filterization system inside, which it's probably not doing much filtering at this point. But there's that. And then let's see, I mean, I kind of remember it from here, but you just unscrew these. Just double check, make sure. Let's see, maintenance. So turn the utility valve to the open position, then disconnect the out valve. So yeah, so once you put the hose into there and you turn this valve, you would disconnect this out, and that way it would suck air in through there. But you know, I had already done that, so it sucked the air in through there. Water will immediately begin to drain from the canister. Since this is a gravity fed method, water will stop draining once the water level in the canister and drain bucket equalize. Once this happens, simply close the valve and empty the bucket. Repeat the draining process until enough water is removed to make the canister light enough to carry to your work area. Well, anyways, close this. That's an important step right there, because if you forget to close that and you go to move this thing around, it just starts pouring water out of this hose, because there is still a little bit more water in there. And so yeah, so basically we made it light enough to move around. I mean, it was already light enough to move around as it was, but that helped make it a little bit lighter. But now I'm gonna disassemble the unit, move the filter to an appropriate area convenient for maintenance, loosen and remove the 8 lid fasteners, remove the filter lid and set aside. Be careful not to damage the inlet stem connected to the lid. Using the red T-handles, lift the media basket from the filter canister, let the T-handles fall out of their slots and separate the baskets. So that's what I'll go ahead and do right now. So these are the 8 fasteners. You just unscrew them, and they just pop down on the side right here, like that. And to everybody that's a fish lover, a pet lover, an animal lover, I am so sorry that I had let this happen to my animals. I am definitely not an abusive animal owner. I feel terrible. And I wasn't even going to post this video, but you know, everything that I've done from the beginning like over a year ago. I've posted a video of it, whether it was smart ideas, bad ideas, you know, new pumps, new filters, whatever I came up with along the way, from starting off with a little tiny fish bowl to this point now. I've posted it because I want people to see what happens when you have a fish tank. I don't want anybody else to go through this process, because I mean, if you love your fish and stuff, it's really a sad state of affairs, you know what I mean? It really gets kind of depressing after a while of doing this kind of stuff. So these are the red fasteners that they're talking about. There's one on either side, and that's what you use to grab this up out of here. You lift it up and you set it aside, and those two will fall off to the side, and then you can separate each section. I can't do it while I'm holding the phone. I should probably get a little camera stand, so a tripod or something, so I can show you guys what I'm doing here. I may do that in the future, but I'm just gonna go ahead and grab those handles and take that out and separate it, so that we can get to cleaning this and replacing the carbon pad and stuff. And I'll do that off camera and be right back. Okay, so I took that out of there and put it into this tote. And these handles, they pop off to the side like this. You just pull them away from the canister, away from the filters. And then these can all be separated into sections. There's different sections of it. So there's one section, here's another section, and can drain this out, rinse all that off. Ew, this is so gross. It's just really freaking nasty. I can't express to you how disgusting this is. All right, anyway, so where are we at here? Remove all foam inserts from the media baskets and trays. Rinse using aquarium or dechlorinated tap water, or replace with new foam as required. So we'll go ahead and do that. Rinse biological media with aquarium water or replace as required. Replace chemical media as needed. Chemical media cannot be cleaned. Empty and rinse the filter canister. Never use soap or detergents when cleaning the canister or rinsing the baskets and trays, as remaining traces of cleaning products may damage sensitive fish tissue. Never overfill baskets. Leave at least 0.5 inches, 1 centimeter of free space from the top of the basket to the media so the basket will fit together properly. If the red tray is present, the media at the bottom of the basket must not exceed the height of the tray supports in the basket. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and fill up a tote with some water, and I'm going to use some water conditioner. And this stuff is, what this does is it removes the chlorine out of tap water, because chlorine is bad for the fish. It'll kill the fish. So if you add a little tiny bit, it's like a couple of milliliters of this to your tap water, and let it sit for a few minutes, it'll get rid of the chlorine so that you can use it to rinse off the filters. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will fill up a bucket and be right back. Okay, so right here I have a 5-gallon tote of water that I got out of the tap, and my water conditioner here. You just shake this up real good, and the lid has measuring lines on it in milliliters. I don't know if you can read that, but it says 5 milliliters, 1 milliliter, 10 milliliters on there. And what you do is, for 2 gallons of water, you add 1 milliliter. For 10 gallons of water, you add 5 milliliters. So we're at 5 gallons, so we're somewhere in the middle of those two. So we're going to do 2.5 milliliters. And so that would be somewhere in between the 1 milliliter line and the 5 milliliter line, somewhere right in that area. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water, a little bit of this dechlorinator to here. Check it. See where I'm at. So that's like right in the middle of 1 milliliter and 5 milliliters right there. So we just add that in here, rinse off the cap, mix it up a little bit, and then just wait 5 minutes, and that'll get rid of the chlorine in the water. You got to do this even just to rinse the filters out, because the chlorine, once you rinse the filters out in this, it'll get the chlorine into the filters, and then you're using chlorine to filter your waters with. So just going to wait about 5 minutes for this to get rid of the chlorine. I'm going to take these filters, dip them in, or actually I'm going to probably just take a gallon jug out and rinse them off in a different tote. I'll use that tote to rinse them off so that I don't get all of this water completely dirty right away. You know, I'll probably just use a little bit at a time in that tote, rinse off each filter, and then as this water gets really bad, then I'll dump it out, and then I'll be able to start with some nice fresh clean water. But wait 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes for this water to get rid of the chlorine, and I just checked to see when my last video was posted, and it was 2 months and 2 weeks ago. So even if I was doing weekly water changes and weekly maintenance, it is due for this 3-month process here. And like I said, there's different things that you can do at different times. You know, once a week you should be doing a water change out, meaning taking half of your yellow pea water out and replacing it with good clean water. But you know, once a month you should be doing some maintenance. Once every 3 months, and once every 6 months, and once every year. There's different maintenance that needs to be done. So like I said, there's a chart for that. It tells you what to do after 1 month. It says to check and clean the mechanical foam, rinse the Biomax, replace the carbon pad, check and clean the canister. So I'm going to be doing that because you do that every month, including every 3 months. And then since we're at the 3 month, we're going to check and clean the magnetic impeller, the motor seal ring, the intake stem strainer, and the biofoam. We're just going to be checking and cleaning. We're not going to be replacing any of that stuff except for the carbon pad. But to begin with, we're going to be doing our monthly maintenance, which is taking this stuff out of here and cleaning it off. So this stuff right here is your Biomax. So basically all the food that you feed your fish and all the fish poop, it all goes into here. Any kind of bacteria, anything that's growing in there, stuff like that, mold, whatever like that. This is what your filter is cleaning out, and it'll get plugged up to the point where it won't even pump any water through it. So you got to maintain it, and this is what I'm doing right now. This red basket comes out. Kind of need both hands, but no, got it. So this red basket comes out, rinse that off. Like I said, once this gets really dirty, then I'll just dump this water out and put some clean water in. It's already kind of at that point right now. It's not too bad. It's better than it was. Let's see if I can put these back in here. Definitely not going for perfection. You know, I'm just rinsing stuff off, that's all. But you can see I got a lot of stuff off of there in this water. I'm going to go ahead and dump that out and put some clean water in and continue on here. Alright, I just dumped that bucket out the window. And take a couple more gallons of this water, put it in there so we can clean off some of these pads. And I will show you the foam pad that I'm going to be replacing. You know, I did not expect to need to change jobs in any shape or form. I was doing DoorDash, and I thought that would be good enough. Staying with my sister and brother-in-law, with my son in their guest house, and unfortunately somebody smashed into my car, and that thereby just ended my DoorDashing career. My sister and brother-in-law got me went out and bought me a pickup truck, which the payments on that are very high, but the idea is that if it gets run into, it won't be completely totaled. Like my Ford Fiesta, it just barely got a minor fender bender, and apparently fixing it costs more than the car. So fixing a minor fender bender costs $10,000 apparently on a Ford Fiesta. So I would not suggest getting a Ford Fiesta, just in case. I mean, they don't even sell them anymore, if that says anything. But I would just suggest not getting a Ford Fiesta, because you get into a minor fender bender, and this is my second Ford Fiesta, which the first one, they told me, you know, it's going to cost $10,000 to fix the car. Well, I just, you know, used a sledgehammer and fixed it myself. You know, I used a come along and I pulled the trunk out and got the new trunk latch, which cost, you know, $100 for a plastic trunk latch, but definitely did not cost me $10,000 to fix it. But this time, you know, they said it just wasn't safe to drive it because the back door was messed up to the point where it couldn't open and close, you know, which didn't matter to me really, but using a come along to pull the entire car apart enough to close and open the back door was a little much. So anyways, little minor fender bender totals the car, so got a pickup truck now. Coming up with the payments for that, you know, helping out my sister and brother-in-law to pay for that is going to be more expensive than working at DoorDash. DoorDash just doesn't cover that kind of payment. So I have gotten a new job, work in a warehouse, a company called Lean or C-Tech. They're under Rhino Tools, and we just build stuff. I cut metal pipe for different companies like Toyota and Tesla and stuff, and so I'm working a lot. You know, there's a lot of hours in there, and hopefully I can get to the point where I mean, right now I have a weekend off, so hopefully I can get back to where I can take care of these fish. But it was definitely not my intention to leave these fish unattended for as long as they have been. But just wanted to show this to you so you know, if you're planning on having fish, you need to have plenty of free time to do this. All right, I'm gonna dump this water out, put the next filter in here, clean that out, maybe get some more water to do the next row. Be right back. Just get this second filter out here. You know, these filters do a great job, and I just can't say enough for this canister filter. If you're gonna get a fish tank, plan on getting a canister filter, because these canister filters, you know, although they are $500, I think you might be able to pick one up for like $300, but somewhere around $300 to $500. They are so much better than the little tiny, you know, $20, $30 ones that they sell. They really do much better at keeping a fish tank clean, and fish really need a 50-gallon fish tank, not a little 1-gallon fish tank, because they need a specific amount of room to swim around in. It'd be like, you know, leaving a person in a 3x3 closet for their whole life, you know? I mean, it's bad enough they don't get to swim in open waters, but you got to give them at least enough room to turn around in. So a 50-gallon tank is about right for 2 or 3 goldfish, you know, or one, but they suggest to have more than one so that they have a little friend to swim around with. So, you know, you pick up a 50-gallon fish tank and three goldfish, and then you're looking at needing a much bigger filter, because those little tiny filters will not do anything with these big tanks. So, you know, and it's not that much maintenance, you know. Like I said, once every 3 months you got to do this. Well, once every month you got to do this. So it's not that bad. You do have to change out the water. But the cool thing about this pump is that it really does help you to change out the water, because it sucks the water out of the fish tank and allows you to put new water back in using the motor to do that, instead of having to take it out manually. So anyway, got this all done. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this out, get some more water, add some more water conditioner to the water, and continue on. I'll be right back. All right, got another bucket of water here. I'm just gonna add my water conditioner to it. And again, this is just to get rid of the chlorine in the tap water, because the chlorine in the tap water will kill the fish. I did a proof of theory on organic. So back there I have fish tanks with water in them, and those sit there for a week. And as long as you let water sit out for a week, the chlorine will evaporate. So that did work. If you are gonna use this system for aquaponics to grow organic food, something that you're gonna eat, you don't want to be adding chemicals like water conditioner to your food. So that is a way to do this for aquaponics to grow food. And that is the concept of this channel, is an aquaponics channel. I do eventually want to be growing food, but for right now I've got to get back to growing fish without them dying. Like I said, this guy's about a year old, and you can see, I mean, that's a pretty good snack. If he wasn't a goldfish, if he was a I don't know how goldfish taste, but I wouldn't want to eat him. I don't know, something about eating a goldfish just doesn't seem right. But if that was a tilapia, I would say he would be a good snack there just in a year. And so, you know, obviously the fish aren't really the main clutch food source here. But in time, when everybody's starving, you know, having some fish every couple of years isn't too bad an idea. But the main thing is that we'll be able to get some free fertilizer from the ammonia that the fish give off. That's the main part of aquaponics, is that you're getting a free fertilizer source, and it's not just nitrate. It's full on NPK. I mean, everything that the plants need is in that water. So I've done a couple of proofs of theory on that. I've grown an older plant for a year just on fish water, no nutrients. I did that indoors, so with lighting. I tried to take it outdoors, and I tried doing seedlings. The seedlings didn't do as well because the ammonia level was too high, so I had to take it back a step to basically mix this with water, with like a 50-50 water to kind of cut the ammonia level for the babies, for the seedlings. But I was able to grow plants with this really well, even outdoors. I was working on a couple of theories on hanging them so that I didn't have to stress the stalk of the plant with tape and things to keep it from dropping into the bucket. But I think the best solution that I've seen so far is just the pool noodles. You take a pool noodle, you cut it, and you're able to put the seedling right into the pool noodle. You can use a little piece of pool noodle to fill in the hole, make the hole a little bit smaller. Do what you got to do, and that way the stalk of the plant isn't as stressed out as it would be on being taped up. But that, not only does that keep the plant from falling into the water, but it floats. So it's a really great way to keep the roots in the water and the plant out of the water. But yeah, growing hydroponically means that the roots are completely submerged in water. I found that using bubblers definitely helps. Kratky's system of not using bubblers works if you want to go without electricity. So I have grown Kratky's system without bubblers. It does work. They do not need bubble action in the water. It does grow better, I think, without with the bubbles, but that's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of people growing with and without bubbles, in the water, and it does just fine. But the point of this channel is to show that it is possible to get free fertilizer for your plants with a minimal amount of water. So obviously I need to add 5 gallons of water every week. Right now I'm already going through 10 gallons of water just to rinse off the filters. So it's a little bit of water, but once you get it going, you get that plant in that hydroponics system, you're not watering that plant every day. You're not adding a gallon of water every day or 5 gallons of water every day to your plant. You're just keeping the roots in the water and trying to keep that water level up. So a few drops of water here and there when it evaporates. So it's very water, you're able to conserve water, as well as the fact that soil is becoming very rare. So when we run out of usable soil that will grow plants, this will be the only way to grow, is hydroponically, and aquaponics is just using a good free fertilizer source. Needless to say, fertilizer will be limited because of the fact that it comes from soil that we don't have anymore. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess start cleaning some more filters off. I've let this sit for 5 minutes. So this right here is, inside here is the carbon filter. If I can get that out. It's really stuck in there. Ew. Just ew on so many freaking levels. I don't even know if I can get that out. It's stuck in there so good. There we go. So this is the carbon filter. And I need a trash bag for that, but I guess I'll just set it right here for right now. This right here. Now let's go ahead and take some of this water. Did I already do that? No. I'm gonna take some of this water here, put it over there. So yeah, what's happening is that because we use machinery to farm with, we're not using animals to plow our lands anymore. We use tractors now. We've disturbed the process of farming quite a bit. Farming used to include having animals on your farm to plow the land, and that way when they pooped, it would add organic matter to the soil, which kept your soil in a really good condition so that it would hold water better. And if you don't have animals pooping in your soil, in your farm, and you're just using tractors, what happens is that the soil becomes unable to hold water very well. So basically, like you're watering your plants every day, watering, and the plants aren't able to absorb as much of the water before it drains right through the soil. It's called desertification. It's when your soil becomes basically just sand, and there's no way to fix it. It takes thousands of years to get soil back to being able to grow plants in. So once your soil becomes like that, it's over. There is no more soil for the earth. So when we run out of soil, you know, there are going to be some places like India. India has laws on keeping animals in their farms. So some places like India will still be able to farm, whereas the rest of us won't, and we will run out of food. So if you have a farm, get a cow, get a couple of cows to poop in your farm so that you can keep your soil good enough to hold water. And you know, I mean, good soil is very hard to find. A lot of soil is clay, a lot of soil is sand. There's only a little bit of good soil, and once you don't add that organic matter to the soil, it becomes sand. Then, you know, there's just nothing left to grow in, and so you'll be left doing something like this. So I'm doing this because this is an inevitable thing that everyone will need to know how to do, is grow organic aquaponics. But I'm gonna go ahead and dump this out. I'm not able to completely rinse this out very good because it's still kind of funky. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. I don't know. I feel like I'm panning for gold here. I'd really like it cleaner than this. So anyway, I'm gonna dump this out and get some more water in this tote, and then I will continue to clean. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'll just add a little bit more of this water here. Finish rinsing this little plastic tote off, and then I will put that new carbon filter in there. And those carbon filters are great. Speaking of filters, I was looking up good water filters, because back in my day we used to drink water out of the hose, and nowadays I just can't stand it. I cannot stand the water that comes out of the tap. I don't know if I've just gotten used to drinking water out of a bottle, but water is getting to be a resource that, you know, it's not infinite and may need to be conserved. So I was looking into water purification systems. One of the best water purification systems that I found was the reverse osmosis system.
Talking to a guy that found one for a couple $100. I thought they were a few thousand, and all the ones that I found were a few thousand, but apparently if you look hard enough, you can find some that are cheaper. So definitely something that's a good idea to look into and think about to conserve water. You know, I watched a video of a guy that captures the rainwater from his gutters on his house and is able to supply all the water needs for his house using filter systems. You know, he's got to use a lot of water filter systems to get it down to where it's drinkable, but he was able to do that. All right, that's good enough for me. Now, just grab this carbon filter out of here. Looks like I'm gonna have to order some more of these pretty soon. I get a 3-pack, or no, it's a 2-pack. I had a couple of those, so running out. But that goes right back in there. And I mean, you can rinse it out just a little bit, but is what it is. It's fine. Anyways, I can put that in there and put these guys back in here. These guys are pretty nasty still. Would like to have gotten these guys a little bit cleaner. Ew. Anyway, not looking for perfection. There's a little slit right here that goes right into that. Let's go back in here. Yeah, I feel like Fluval should have done some tutorials on how to use their filters, so that's why I spend so much time on this, because these are one of the better fish pumps that I've found at PetSmart, and not really much instruction on them. So there's that, and then we still got at least 2 or 3 gallons of water here. Now this pad right here is the BioFoam pad. This one here you don't replace, but you do rinse. I'm just going to go ahead and rinse it in this water first. So yeah, so once all of the soil on Earth has been desertified and we're down to just the soil in India, guess what? India is not even going to want to sell their food. They're just going to be eating their food. So people in America will be starving to death. We won't be able to afford food. I don't know if you've gone to the store lately and looked at the price of food, but it's gone up quite dramatically. I remember when my parents used to be able to buy groceries for all 5 of us for a week. It cost about $100. Right now, I am spending $1,200 a month on food for me and my son. I know that's a little exorbitant, but we eat out. But I mean, it's outrageous. Like, there's just such a huge difference in the price of food at the store now. You know, a gallon of milk was $1, now it's $3.50. It's almost 4 times the price in just 30 years. But I mean, the price is not going to go down. That's what I'm trying to say, is the price of food is never going to go down. It is just going to go extremely high until it gets to the point where no one is going to be able to afford food. And the reason being is because it costs so much to farm now. Because people aren't adding organic matter into their soil. They're out there adding fertilizers and pouring tons and tons of water into their farms. Everybody thinks, oh, you don't need to water your farms, you just let the rain feed your crops. Well, the reality is that you do have to water your plants every day. Plants require water, and just like people do, plants require water. So if you want to grow food, you know, and you don't have good soil, you have to water a lot more, and that water is not free. They are paying exorbitant amounts of money for that water. And so water, between water and fertilizer and the equipment and the time that it takes to farm, it's getting really expensive to farm. And of course farmers are going to keep doing it because we need food, and so people are going to keep buying food. It's not like farmers are going to go out of business anytime. But what is going to happen is that people aren't going to be able to afford to eat. Only the rich will be able to eat, and eventually even they won't be able to find food. And water is going to be a shortage issue too. So the main thing is find out, Google how much soil is there on Earth that you can farm out of, and it's a small percentage of the Earth is got soil that you can farm in. And when I say soil that you can farm in, I mean a loam soil. So a loam soil holds water really well. It's got nutrients in it. It allows the water to not just sit there and become moldy. So with a clay soil, the water just sits on the top, on the surface. It doesn't drain through, and it becomes moldy. With a sand soil, it goes right through, and the plants don't have a chance to absorb it. And a mixture of organic matter and sandy soil, you get this nice loam that holds water well. It has good nutrients in it, and allows the water to go through. And there's only so much of that on the Earth. Can't tell you how important soil is. It's the most important resource that we have, and people are just wasting it by not adding organic matter to it. And there's less and less good soil on the Earth every day. So anyway, I didn't mean for this video to be such a long-winded video, but I haven't touched bases on this in a long time, and I just wanted to remind everybody how important it is that you look into alternative systems for growing. Try to figure out how to eat. People are trying to build basements underground to keep away from the zombies. Well, you don't need to worry about a zombie apocalypse. What you need to worry about is the fact that we're going to run out of food. So start figuring out how your grandkids are going to eat if you go to the store and it costs $1,000 for a gallon of milk. Because that's going to be the situation. The food prices are going to go up so high that no one will be able to afford to eat. Not even the super rich. It's going to start in the slums, in the ghettos. People are going to not be able to afford to eat real soon. Within the next 30 years, there's going to be starvation across America. I'm gonna take this out off camera because it's, oh, there it goes. So here's another layer, another red basket, and underneath this red basket is a bit more of this Biomax. I'm just gonna rinse that out, and I'll be all done cleaning the filter out. And then I'll just dump the water out of the canister and rinse that out, and then I can just put the whole thing back together. But I need some more fresh water here. So I'm gonna dump this out and fill it back up. I'll be right back. While I was off camera, I poured some water all over my floor, so I had to drain it up with a bunch of clothes. I didn't have any towels, but anyway, I'm gonna add some more of this water conditioner to this water, and then I can finish cleaning off this stuff here. Just gotta wait 5 minutes for this water conditioner to work. Quite a bit of water for this process here. Just cleaning this stuff off has already taken up, about 15 gallons of water. And I still have got to get to the fish tank yet. But we'll get there. Just gonna let this sit here for 5 minutes and I'll be right back. I've waited the 5 minutes for the water conditioner to do its thing, get rid of the chlorine out of the tap water. So I'll just take some of this water here, separate it into a different tote so I can get some more of this cleaned off. And we are just about done with cleaning the filters off. Now, every 3 months you do want to check the impeller, which I'm kind of scared to do because I don't have another impeller. The last time that I checked the impeller on it, it broke in my hands while I was using it, and luckily I had a backup impeller. So I would suggest whenever you're going to do the 3-month maintenance and check the impeller, that you have a backup impeller, because if you don't, then your fish tank will be, your fish will be dead in a couple of weeks if you don't have this pump going. So definitely don't want to break it. And the impeller is just basically this right here. It's a little magnet part and it goes inside that little box right there. You just unscrew 2 screws, take it off, and you'll see this impeller in there. But as you can see, it had snapped off right here. I don't know if you can really tell, but anyway, it snapped off. So luckily I had already ordered a new one and I had a backup. So I think it's time to order a new backup, and I will just wait on checking that out for right now. But I will go ahead and finish cleaning this off right now, and then also I will dump that out and clean it out. Another thing that we do at the 3-month cleaning is the intake strainer. So I'm going to take that off and clean that, and that thing is just covered with food and mess. So we'll get that all taken care of today. So first, let's go ahead and take this and dump this in here. And I guess since this is the last thing to be cleaned, I'll go ahead and take this and put this in this one. So as you can see, this filter really does a good job of getting all the stuff out of your fish tank, and as long as you keep it maintained, you know, doing these once a month cleanings, once every 3-month cleanings, every 6-month replacing stuff, the annual replacing stuff, you know, it really does work quite well. I've had it for over a year, still working just fine. It survived some terrible oversights on my part, but you know, it still keeps ticking, even though I tend to mess up. Don't do everything as planned here. There really isn't a good way to get this cleaned out. Let's see, what could I do? No real way to clean this any better than that. I guess that's the best I'm gonna get it. I would love to get it a little bit better than that. I just don't see that happening. Get that off there. That's really just stuck in good. I don't know if I can get that out of there. Some little tiny spots that I can't seem to get the stuff out of. But anyway, I got a good majority of it out of there. Now, just take this, set it down here. Grab these guys and throw these guys back in there. Don't want that in there. Oh, the nastiness of it all. So yeah, I definitely don't suggest. A lot of people think that fish are a great little pet for a little kid, and if you've seen Finding Nemo, you know it depends on the type of kid, but you know, definitely not suited for some kids. And I would say unless you plan on doing a lot of work for your kid's pet, not one of the best pets. I mean, not like any pet is easy. Obviously, you get a dog, you're gonna have to take it for walks, clean it, do all this stuff with that too. But I mean, this is like quite the ordeal. So I had put this foam pad back in here like this, and that foam pad goes on top of this right here, right? And I had also put that new foam pad back in there underneath this. There was the new carbon pad that I put in. Just got to put these guys back in here. There's a little groove that they fit into. And so you got 2 layers. You got a carbon filter. You got a biofoam filter. You got these biofoam sponges. Got a lot of Biomax to capture the bacteria. So that part's done. Now this has still got some water and stuff in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump that out, rinse it out with some dechlorinated water, and then we'll just put all this stuff back in there. So I'm gonna do that off camera. Be right back. Just to be clear, I dumped the water out the window on that. I am gonna be adding another cap of water conditioner to this. I just got another 5 gallons of water, so now I think we're up to about 20 gallons of water I've used just to clean the filters and the canister out. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes for that water conditioner to work, and then I'm gonna dump that in here, rinse this out, dump it back out, and we'll be done with the canister. We can put all that back together, start working on the intake strainer. Okay, so I've been working on this for a few hours and took a little break, but I'm back to it. I dumped some water in here, rinsed this all out, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour some water in here and use this this brush that comes with the Fluval pump. And I'm gonna stick that in here and clean that out, because that, I believe, is the intake valve. Yeah, that's the intake valve. And you don't want that getting jammed up. And then I'm just gonna dump some water in there and clean that out a little bit better. I'll do that off camera. I'll be right back. Well, I was trying to remember how the motor spins the water and how it actually does the sucking action that it does. And this being the pump, the actual pump motor, it's got that little propeller inside here, and I believe that sucks the water from here. So what I'm gonna have to do, since I just jammed all that stuff down in there, is I am gonna have to take this off so that I can make sure it's not all plugged up with the food and stuff in there. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna take a little eyeglass screwdriver, and you can see it's a little tiny screw there. I'll try to show how I do it. So you got a little tiny eyeglass type screwdriver here, and just unscrew that. Like that. And there is another one on the other side. You definitely don't want to lose those. There's another one on the bottom, I believe. Oh, there's 2 on either side. These are the These are the tricky ones. You got to have the right type of screwdriver for this because they're indented into this hole here. So you got to have a nice long, skinny screwdriver for this one. Let's see if I can show you how I do this. Ooh. Well, I'm gonna have to do this off camera, but there's a screw on either side that's indented in there. I got them tightened down. I'll do that and I'll be right back. All right, so once you get that taken off of there, this is what the propeller looks like. And hopefully this doesn't break. Because if this breaks, then my whole thing's done for. But I definitely need to take this out. So let's see. Let's see how we do this. I believe that I can get it from the inside. No, can't get it from the inside. I'm not sure how this works. I guess I pull this out. And that wasn't it. So, yeah, this is the propeller right here. I forgot it's on the inside of this. You just take like a screwdriver and peel off this this red guard right here. So the screwdriver goes in the side of the red guard here, like this, and you just pop that off. This comes out. Pretty sure that this is how you get this off. Oh, this is where this is where this washer comes off. So we're just gonna leave that washer on there. Yeah, I'm just gonna run some water through that. Make sure that brush, that is all cleaned out. I'll do that off camera and rinse this out a little bit more. I'll be right back. All right, back over here where I got a little more light. So this this pump motor is kind of silly, and it's a lot the same way that all these pump motors work. It's a propeller like a boat. I think they're called impellers. But anyways, it's just a little fan, and so it's got a stick that sticks into it. It's like a little popsicle. I mean, like the stick off of a sucker candy, and then it's got like a magnet attached to the impeller. So the magnet itself goes inside here. Now I believe what happens is that there's a magnet inside here that's spinning, and that makes the impeller spin. But it does go, it does get connected to this. So when I push the brush through here, it goes right into the into this area right here. So once you take this off, you can push the brush through, it goes all the way through. So what happens is that impeller sucks the water in the intake, and that's how this whole process works. And basically, because you can only take in so much water without overflowing, then it has to push the water out the outtake. I believe that's the concept of this. I'd have to look at the top of this top here to be sure. So this is the out. So actually no, I guess it sucks. I guess the water pumps out of this. So it turns a fan that makes the water come in through this hole right here and pumps it out of that hole. So that's the outtake valve. But anyway, got that all checked out, made sure that wasn't clogged up. And now it is time to put these back in here. And the way you do that is with these red handles. So you just put these two back together on top of each other like this. And they do have to fit in there pretty good. So if the Biomax isn't lined up just right, or it's not level, it won't sit on there right. But I don't see any reason why it shouldn't right now. It's got everything in there just fine. Let's see. Is there any reason why this wouldn't sit right? Looks like it's fine. Okay, that feels better. So then these red handles, they go in here like that, and they click in like that. You just put the red handles on, and then you can set the whole thing back into the canister like that. And I'm gonna have to grab that off camera and I'll set it in there, and then we will fill it up with water and start working on the actual fish tank, including the intake valve. So give me just a second, I'll be right back. All right, I got that set back in there, and now I'm gonna fill this up with water and put the lid back on. And I'm gonna have to do that off camera, so I'll get the water and do that, pour that in there real quick, and then I'll be right back. When you fill this up with water, you want to basically make sure that you can see some water in the sides right here. Get it all the way up to the top so that it's primed and ready to go. And I mean, it will go through a cycle where it releases all the air bubbles out there and makes it completely airtight with water, but you want to get it as full as you can. And like I said, so this is the out and this is the in. The in goes in here, in this hole here, and the out attaches to that pipe that I was showing you that goes into the impeller. And it just pops right on like that. And then you just put these 8 screws back in. They just slide up like this. You screw those on. Uh-oh. Now I've done it. So if these come out, you have to pop them in underneath here somehow, like that. You don't want to do that. It's kind of an ordeal. This one here is not in there right. Ugh. Please don't break. I'm gonna fix this off camera. Because the last thing I need is for this to break right here. Okay, good. Alright, so this just slides in here. Quite the ordeal. I am not too sure why this is not just sliding in there like it's supposed to. Feels like something's in the way. Arg. There we go. So yeah, so it is kind of an ordeal getting that back in there, but that's how you do that. And then these all get screwed down. Just finger tight. I mean, you do want them tight as you can get them with your fingers, but you don't need a wrench. So yeah, you just have to have a few hours once a month to take care of this. And like I said, once a week you do a water change out. Irregardless, you have to do a water change out so you can get rid of the ammonia. The fish excrete ammonia and they pee and all that in there. So you gotta swap out a quarter of the water in there. All right, these are all finger tight. So now I'm gonna pick this up and set it back over there, and that way I can connect these up. But I can go ahead and start working on that intake strainer. So the intake strainer is that right there. It goes up here to this hose right here, and basically you just got to pull down on it and it will detach from the pipe. Now, kind of hard to explain, but it detaches, and then that comes off like that. You want to rinse that off really good. You don't want to do that in your fish tank. You want to do that somewhere over here with some clean water. And then if you squeeze this, you can separate these two chunks right here. And this would definitely slow down the intake for sure. And you want your intake strainer completely clear so that the water can get through and get in there and do its job. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more water and try to clean that out a little bit better. But you also got to use like a net or something and get all the food and stuff off the bottom. And this is why I don't use any rocks or anything like that, is so that when I scoop this stuff up, I'm not scooping up a bunch of rocks with it. But you know, you can just scoop it all up off the bottom here and hopefully get all the food and stuff, all the big chunks off the bottom of the fish tank out of there. But there is a lot of stuff down there and I don't seem to be getting it, so I must be doing something wrong here. Don't want to scoop the fish up. There we go, there's a big net full of this stuff, and I don't see any fish in there. That's good. I got these new fish pellets, and I really don't like them. They didn't have my normal fish pellets. They had these API goldfish pellets, and they're little round balls, and they just sit at the bottom of the fish tank. They don't go anywhere. So I don't even know if they eat them, but I do know they pile up pretty quick, and I don't think they are eating too much. That could be because they're sitting in a bunch of ammonia and they're not hungry. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to scoop out the stuff off the bottom, get some more water to clean that off, and I'll be right back. So I just put half of a tote in here, and as you can see, it says it's 30 quarts, which in English is 5 gallons, I think. I'm not really sure. Anyways, but I'm just gonna put 1 milliliter, and that is 1 milliliter. It's hard to see, but that's 1 milliliter. Just gonna add that in there, and I am gonna let that sit there
for 5 minutes so that I can clean. Okay, well, I went and took a little break, got some dinner. So this has been a full 8-hour mission, and at this point I've scooped out some of the poopy stuff. Now I can barely even see the fish in the fish tank. It's so mixed up in the water. So we got to get this pump hooked up as quickly as possible. I let the dechlorinator soak for over 5 minutes here. Just got to clean this food off of here. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to disconnect that hose so I can spray some water through it. And the hose itself gets pretty full of stuff, so I don't know how to do it with dechlorinated water or anything. I'm just gonna have to spray it out with the shower hose, or stick it in the sink and spray it out with the regular tap water, unfortunately. But for the most part, I try to use dechlorinated water. But yeah, this is how you get these clean. And definitely long overdue. Definitely a long overdue cleaning. It's crazy that it got this bad in just a couple of months, but like I said, I usually do a water change out once a week, and at which point I usually try to clean out the stuff in the fish tank. And so absolutely nothing has been done on this fish tank in 2 months. No water change outs, no nothing. So it has gotten really bad. But this is a huge portion of how the water stays clean, is by going through this filter. And if it's this plugged up, it's definitely not going to allow too much water to go through. And if the filter was that nasty, it's definitely not going to do much good, even if it did get through. So once I get this hooked back up, it will help. And I'm not going to be able to get it perfect because I'm not taking the fish out and getting them, into another fish tank today. I'm just going to add some more water to that. So it's still going to be pretty bad when I'm all done with this, but it'll be a little bit better. So this hose right here has little attachments that hold it to the side. They're just like little clips, and these little clips clip onto a base back here that sits on the lip of the glass. So you just take off those 3 clips like that, and there's one more back here like that. And now this hose can come off. Now I'm just going to take this hose downstairs and suppose I should have dropped that out in one of these totes instead of back into the fish tank. But yeah, I'm just going to take this downstairs, this hose, and I'm just going to run some water through it real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got that. I ran that hose through with water. Just dumped it into the toilet and cleaned out what was inside of that hose. Now I'm going to reattach this to the base, and this goes back on the same way it comes off. You just pop these 2 things together. You got little latches on there that just go in the inside of this, and then it just kind of pops back together like that. Obviously the hole goes over the hose at the bottom of the intake. Ooh, that water's cold. Goodness sakes. Surprised my glowfish are doing okay with the water being this cold.
I don't know why the water's so cold. But anyway, this can be a little bit tricky. Getting this hose to attach to this intake strainer. But basically you just set it up on the bottom and then push the hose down into it. Once it's sitting on the bottom of the fish tank, you can push the hose into it. But yeah, got that done. Now I suppose I should probably clean this out as well. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Be right back. So I took this tip off of here, washed it out, took the hose downstairs, ran some hot water through it, ran the chunks that were stuck in that hose into a toilet. Now all that's left is just cleaning off the glass, and it's going to be a nightmare. But basically you're just going to scrub off all of this glass, and a lot of people will tell you, don't put your hands in there because you might have detergent on your hands or something that the fish won't like. But it's just, I don't have a big giant magnet yet. I still need to get one of those. This is just the fastest way to do this for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera. Just gonna scrub off all the glass the best that I can, and scrub off the bottom and try to scoop up as much of the chunkies in the water that I can, and then we'll get it hooked back up. So I'll do that off camera. Be back in a second. Yeah, I scrubbed off all the sides of the glass, the bottom and everything. Downside is that I can't scoop it out anymore. I can't scoop out any more of the chunks out of there because I can't see them. Can't see the fish, can't see nothing. All I see is just mud. So I was thinking about it. I probably should have drained some of the water out before I started this, but I am going to go ahead and bucket out some water. Just manually take out some water. So what I'm just going to do is just going to use a empty gallon jug of water and just scoop out as much of this water as I can without, and still leaving enough for the fish to swim around in. So I'll do this off camera, but basically I'm just going to take out a bunch of this water so that I can replace it with as much clean water as possible. Normally you would just do a quarter water change out, but as you can see, I'm already down to about half of the water just from evaporation in 2 months. So I'm going to be putting in all new water, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I got some bacteria in the filters and the biomedia. So yeah, I'm just going to drain this out off camera and I'll be right back. Alright, well, I got a good majority of the water out of here. And since half of the intake strainer isn't even in the water anymore, I'm going to go ahead and manually put some water back in there, and before I start up the pump. But we're almost there to getting the pump started back up. So I'm going to add some water to this, and of course this will be water that I use the water conditioner in, not straight out of the tap. Get that all filled back up and I'll be right back. Well, I added about 15 gallons of water in there, so now the intake strainer is submerged under the water, so hopefully that'll be enough to go ahead and hook up this pump. So I'm going to take the pump and go put it back down there and hook up those hoses, and try to turn this back on here. Got to make sure I do this right. So this is the inside, so that goes to the intake valve, which is the one with the intake strainer on it. And try not to
smash my hose here. Gotta put it in the middle. And then we just gotta push down on this like that. These have to be in the right spot here. So if you pull up on it, it shouldn't detach. Alright. So that's rehooked back up. I'm just going to read the instructions just to make sure that I do this right. I'm not sure where the instructions are for this section of it. Okay. It says open the in and out valve lever, placing them in the vertical position, plug the unit into an electrical outlet. The electrical automatic priming sequence will begin. This is what will happen. The pump will run for 1 minute to fill the filter canister with aquarium water. The pump will stop for 2 minutes to evacuate air from the filter canister, and the pump will start again. It will remain on and will run continuously until it is unplugged. The sequence will repeat itself every time the unit is unplugged and plugged back in. Every 12 hours, the pump will stop for 1 minute to evacuate any air that may have become trapped inside the unit. So basically just make sure those are open, which they are, and plug it in. So there we go. We got water spraying out. Hopefully it's sucking water in. Not 100% sure that I didn't break the impeller on it. So hopefully it's not just pumping all of the water out, but I would assume if it's pumping water at all, it's probably working. So that's a good sign. Just gonna hook this utility hose back up, and then I'm gonna wait for it to fill up just a little bit. Wait for it to run for a little while, then evacuate the air, and then start back up. And then I'm going to start using the pump to fill the tank back up. So as you can see, it's evacuating the air right now, and it'll do that for about a minute, and then it'll start back up. So I'm going to let it do that, and once it's done doing that, I will put the utility hose into the fish tanks that I have back here and start filling it back up, and go ahead and start filling up some of those totes with water, because this isn't enough to fill it. So once it turns back on, I'll just open the utility valve. Oh, I want to make sure that this hose doesn't come out of here, so I got a little trick for that. I just pinch the hose in between the two tanks. That keeps the hose at the bottom of the tank. And I'm kind of able to see through this nasty ass water now. I mean, it's not completely 100% clean. I could probably run a net through it and get a little bit more of this nastiness off the bottom, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. But anyway, just gonna let it run for a little bit, and hopefully it'll
turn back on here in a second. Where did it say it? It runs for a minute. Oh, there we go.
Turns back on after 2 minutes. So now that it's back on,
I can go ahead and
open up this utility valve. So what we'll do is we'll close the inlet and open up the utility valve, and that will change the inlet from being this to being this. So now it's sucking the water from here and putting that back into the fish tank. So I'll drain this water out, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this one up with some tap water and add some water conditioner and wait 5 minutes, and I'll be back to finish this off. Well, actually the tank that I had back there, I mean, it is a 20-gallon tank, so it did almost fill it up. But as you can see, I still got a little bit more to go, and like I said, it's not going to be perfectly clear in there because of the fact that I have I had like some of that water left, and it was like really dirty water, but it's a lot better. I did fill this tank up with some water. See, I have a garden hose that I have hooked up to my sink, and just got an attachment to hook up a hose to my sink, and so that makes it really easy to fill these up upstairs. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this into this fish tank here. And should have wedged it in there best I I'm spilling water all over the place. Whatever, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now, how am I gonna do this? Yes, this is trickier than the other one. Whatever. Okay, so we're just going to close the inlet valve, open up the utility valve, and that will suck the water from this tank and fill up the fish tank. And so you got to make sure you keep an eye on this tank here, that it doesn't get empty, because once it's empty, it'll start sucking in air into the pump, and you don't want that. Got to make sure your hose is down at the bottom, it doesn't flop out and start sucking in air. You also have to make sure that you don't overfill your tank, because if it's got water to suck in, it will continue to pump water into the tank and overflow it. So this last little bit of filling is a little bit of a process, just making sure that you don't mess anything up with the pump or have a bunch of water on your floor and possibly fish as well. But that's all there is to it for the 3-month cleaning. Again, I apologize to all you fish lovers out there. Like I said, this channel is mostly devoted to aquaponics. Not really trying to have pets, although they are pretty cute, and I think they love me. I'm not too sure, but they do love their room to swim around in there, and they love it when I keep it clean, that's for sure. But yeah, so mainly you just want to make sure that you weekly you change out this water. You don't have to change out all the water, you just want to change out a quarter of the water. And you know, and monthly, 3 months, 6 month, and annual maintenance on the machine here is all you got to do, and then you can keep a fish tank nice and clean. I did attempt to do bare bottom. I also attempted to put soil in there and put plants in there. I'm not too sure which one I like better, but I just find it easier to clean the bottom without having anything on there. It's just a nice, easy system to clean. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I do appreciate all of my 80-something subscribers. You know, like and subscribe this, and I will continue to make videos. Hopefully soon I will be able to get that baby squash going again. Probably gonna have to do it indoors because it's winter time, but we'll try to get something going here. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great day.